Okay, I've heard you guys. I know you want to see the Miata, and today I finally unbury the Miata, and we're gonna just take this out and go get some gas in it. It's got like under a quarter tank. The gas is probably over a year old. It's the 85, which supposedly is the worst thing ever, so I don't know, it might even just like catch on fire and blow up, but I think I'm gonna go send it. Cat dragged in Nick over here. It's a good buddy of mine.
Hit me up on MySpace.
Yeah, Nick's got that beautiful i8 up there, and we're just gonna hop in this old jalopy and see what the heck happens. It seems like it's gonna be fun. I haven't driven this in so long. I did warm it up, I will say that, so it did start. I didn't need to jump it, which is also surprising since I never put it on a battery tender. But let's just see what happens. Let's go have some fun. So I did have to dust out, well, not even dust out, I really had to get the machete out for a couple cobwebs in this sucker. Wow. Man, I might have gained some weight. This bucket seat seems a little tight. Maybe I'm just not used to it.
I think you're just not used to it.
Jeez. Let's go see how this works. The gas gauge also does not work every once in a while, I've learned, so we need to keep some fuel in it. Wouldn't even know it, right?
This thing sat for 6 months? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, well, yeah, the last time I drove it was November. So yeah, and really other than that one time I drove it in November, I think I drove it once in March of last year, and yeah, I think that was it. I feel bad. I put so much time, effort, and money into this car to not drive it.
Cool.
It feels so much lighter than the Toyota, it's obscene.
Oh yeah?
I mean, this weighs 2150 without me in it, and the Toyota weighs 2,800 pounds.
Okay.
And this doesn't have power steering, and you know, everything feels so much more analog, like interface-wise, the light and flywheel and all that good stuff. Not bad for a race car in the street, huh? Only thing, get a little bit of vibe from these solid motor mounts, and that's
I like it.
It's kind of nice though.
Yeah, I like it though. What's this thing put down?
260.
260 is pretty good, dude.
It books. It boogies. Yeah. I like this thing. It's so forgiving to drive too. I mean, like, you can put Lori in it. Intermediate driver, she can hop in this and totally manage it.
A tire shot?
I don't want to discuss the state of these tires. They might be mild. It's a mildly questionable.
You're like, no comment.
No comment. In fact, I don't even know what air pressure's in them. They don't look flat, so
run it, do it live.
That's what we're doing today, Nick. We're just running it live. I mean,
for what it's worth, I never check my tire pressures.
Okay, well that makes me feel good. These are old NT01s that I had that have been through a lot of track days.
Yeah.
I like it. You know what though? NT01s are one of those like race tires. They kind of just never die. Like they never get super scary. They just lose more and more grip progressively. But even then, they're like still drivable. Not many 30-year-old cars feel this good. And every time I don't drive it and I get to the point where I'm like, I really gotta move this car, I get in and I cruise in this, I'm like, man, would you want to sell this? It's not worth the amount of money you can get out of them, I think, with with how much I've done to it.
Well, no car ever is.
Yeah. And hours.
That's why someone ever wanted to buy my red car for me. I'm like $7,500.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's worth to me, even though I'm financially in it for $5.
Exactly.
Imagine driving that around.
Yeah, I'd rather be in this.
I'm sure it's fast, but I couldn't deal with that.
Nah, neither could I.
I couldn't deal with that obnoxiousness sound.
Well, Nick, you used to have a Miata, so you know you have the ZHP, you have the Miata, and you have the i8 now, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I miss that Miata. It was a great little car. Good little car.
Yeah.
Different times though.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate I have just a place to keep this, and it doesn't really cost me much money to just keep around. And times like this, man, it's fun. Oh, lightweight flywheel.
Forgot.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that compared to the Toyota, this thing is so much more responsive with the clutch. The Toyota's clutch is really, well, I should say the flywheel's heavy, clutch pedal's light, so
Gotcha.
it's just very lazy. And even like revving up, this is much faster. And thankfully it's not too loud.
No, it's not obnoxious. It's just, it's a Miata.
It's a Miata.
Yeah.
And you get the nice blower noise.
Yeah.
There's been a skunk living on the side of my house by this car.
Oh, you told me about that. I think
Yeah.
something like that.
So today uncovering it was a bit of a gamble. I was wondering if I was going to find the skunk or not.
No, don't bounce before you.
Dude, I came face to face with a skunk already in the middle of the day. Changing tires on the Toyota, came around the corner and the skunk was there looking at me, and he was like maybe 3-4 feet away, and I just stood up and I went, oh boy, and he scurried across the road. 9 in the morning. It's a skunk, shouldn't he be asleep? And Nick, you've been with me in the Miata through so many iterations of it. I mean,
Literally day one.
day one with this car, you've been in it, and how much has it changed?
I mean, it's a lot. That's hard to quantify, honestly. It's just, this car's gone through everything. What,
Yep.
2 motor swaps? 1 or 2 motor swaps?
One motor swap, yeah.
Okay, and then we did turbo, and then supercharger, and then
Yep, it was naturally
something like
aspirated.
that, yeah. And all the stuff in between.
Yeah.
I remember driving an autocross in 09 for the first time.
Yeah.
You're like, don't forget, it doesn't have ABS. And sure enough, first turn, I got a brake hard, and I'm like, full lock, like, oh shit, oops,
Yeah, it's a little different.
my bad.
Yeah, this car's been through a lot with me. Decade. Never thought I'd own a car that long. Never planned on owning this thing that long either. It was like, oh, it's just a Miata, I'm gonna get rid of it at some point. Here we are.
Yep.
Wow, ethanol is so expensive now. It's over $3 a gallon. The heck, guys.
Fuck, I switched to 87.
Now, what side is the gas tank on?
Your side.
My side. I haven't gotten gas at this in that long. Now let's get the good stuff. Little door bars are a little fun to climb over. Oh yeah, the cable release for that broke many years ago, so now I just keep a magnet in there to make it close. And some of you may be wondering if ethanol can sit that long, and technically it's not supposed to, but it's, you know, here we are, we're driving it and beating on it and doing the things you're not supposed to, and it seems okay. I have noticed that at first, if it sits a while, and you got to burn through the old stuff in the lines, the car feels a little slow. But other than that, it's generally pretty forgiving in my experience. I think modern ethanol has a lot more preservatives and additives to help it along compared to the old stuff. And, you know, we are going out beating on it. Probably be a good idea to check if there's oil in it, huh? Do the head balancing act here. Full of oil, that's what we like to see. There we go. And for those that haven't actually seen this car on the channel, Rotrex Supercharger, a V mount, deleted the headlights, had these LEDs up here, junkyard motor, Zeta coilovers, gotta replace that hose. These are getting a little old and crusty. That's a good thing to know. I gotta replace that. But other than that, really simple car. Don't want to put too much gas into it though, because I don't drive it that much. That's way more than I wanted, but well. Probably good to put more gas in it than not, huh? And mix the old stuff in with the new stuff. I guess that might be okay. But this car has been through so much with me that I do ponder selling it from time to time. But like I said before, it's hard to want to do that. Let's hop in it full of gas, or full of oil.
All right.
It's a good sign.
It's not like it's leaking.
I mean, I don't know.
Oil doesn't evaporate.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, it's never good to assume, but...
The one thing I found interesting is one of the rubber hoses cracked, but that's not surprising for a car that sits.
What's your rubber hose?
Crankcase vent. It's a little leaky, the one going to the intake.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world, but...
No, but
so
is it cracked and leaking, or is it just cracked?
It's probably leaking a little
bit.
Like a champ with 1000cc injectors. It is a trip driving a car without power steering after being in the 86 so much. Makes all the right sounds.
Dude, this thing's fast. Like, it's just fast.
Lightweight, you know, this is, I think I scaled it a couple years ago at 2150 without me, and that's with a regular standard battery, an OEM hardtop, these door bars. You know, it's actually a fairly heavy Miata in the Miata world. If it was a dedicated race car, it could probably be a couple 100 pounds lighter. But it doesn't need it. I mean, this is a fun autocross street car you can still actually drive. That's probably the most gas this car has seen in many months. But I'll tell you what, with those mounts, these are Blackbird Fabworks mounts, they make the transmission so much more consistent in terms of finding where the gears are, because it just locks everything in place more. I don't like 4 cylinders usually, like the way they sound, but I think this particular exhaust setup on this Miata sounds pretty darn good.
Exhaust makes it all come together.
It's a Racing Beat, one of the old school Racing Beat exhausts. Actually, the whole exhaust system is Racing Beat, now that I think about it, from the motor back. Blasted on the freeway. I think, what do they call that, the Italian tune-up? Rotrex on your E36, right?
Yeah. That was the coolest thing ever.
It sounds like a spaceship, I think, almost.
It sounded like a jet.
That's a good point,
like a jet taxiing to takeoff, and you couldn't hear intake noise, you couldn't hear exhaust noise, you just heard blower. And it was literally the best sound ever. And that lasted about 1.5 years until the blower, well, my neglect allowed the blower to spin a bearing, basically.
Ah, bummer. Yeah, they're usually pretty stout. They don't require much maintenance, but you got that kit used, too.
I got that kit was 5 years used, and then I got it, and I put it through hell.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the crumbled. So
yeah, that's, to be honest, understandable.
yeah,
You know. My buddy Josh, he's got a Rotrex on his BRZ. That thing's been rock solid. He's had that car supercharged for like 40,000 miles.
nice.
That's a lot. I've had this supercharged since 2015. 4 years. It's March 2015.
It was March. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this blower has just been a hoot. Really works well with a Miata, though. I think, especially since it's so light, it doesn't need a bunch of torque down low, so it still feels nice and zippy. Like, I know in like the BMWs I've driven with Rotrex, they feel a little lazy. Even the BRZs feel kind of lazy under 4,000. I think this one's a keeper, Nick.
Good.
What do you think?
I like this thing. I
Yeah.
might need to borrow it from you sometime.
We could work something out. Oh, Instagram story?
Yeah, I didn't take this.
Here. Ready? Not bad for a car that hasn't run in 8 months. And you hop in it and it'll still go do that. Brakes could be bled.
And what they need to bleed?
Yeah, pedal feels a little soft. Last time this was really used was Chihuahua 2 years ago. Well, I guess that wraps this video up. Thanks for joining, Nick. That was a bit of a surprise guest appearance here.
Yeah, it was fun.
Maybe just show up on the channel a little bit more. Get the i8 on there. And
Hey, don't twist my arm.
yeah, I think so. Make some good content, you know? And maybe with Nick's help, we'll get this Miata back on track. And so until the next time, I'm Sean with a driver's perspective.